Shay think he know everything. Shay think he know everything.
Hello, and welcome back to Shay Think He Know Everything. This is the third episode, and I'm extremely glad to be here, glad to be in the number one more time. I am glad to be in the house. Look at somebody and say, in the house. Let me double check this mic, because one time I recorded half an episode without the mic on. Them things happen. Had to go back and do it over. That's sure. Oh God. Didn't like that. So, but welcome back. Y'all know how we do here. We do three things, three segments, if you will. What I do know, what I'm tired of, and give you a word for the cast. Today it's a good one. Hope y'all enjoy today's word. And it's also one that I did previously on my I guess sound only or non-video podcast, but I want to do it for the video podcast. Is y'all with me? Okay, so right to work here. What I do know is that the election is over. Have mercy, God. The runoff is over. Having to worry about these candidates is over. And all these commercials is over, and people calling my phone is over, and people texting my phone is over, and everybody talking about these two candidates is over, and looking at Herschel Walker is over. And we want to congratulate Reverend Senator Warnock, or Senator Reverend, however he wants to be called, Warnock, for his victory. And it was one of the nastiest campaigns I had ever seen in my entire life, my entire voting life. One of the nastiest campaigns I had ever seen. They were a mess. And I want to say this to anybody who votes, is that we have party affiliations. I call myself an independent, but I'm a left-leaning independent voter, right? I'm a Democratic-leaning independent voter. But I want you to know that while I claim to be a Democratic-leaning, I'm not a party guy. I'm a candidate guy, right? And because I'm a candidate guy, that's one of the main reasons I couldn't work with Mr. Walker. He just wasn't the candidate for me, okay? I might have voted for him if he act like he had some sense. I don't know if y'all watched his concession speech, but it was absolutely gorgeous. If that man had run for office, he might have won, okay? The man who came out to admit defeat, he might have actually won. His concession speech was gorgeous. It was beautiful. It was humble. It was intellectual. It was intelligent. He didn't sound like he didn't know what he was talking about. And I was like, well, goodness gracious, where was this man? Where was this person during the campaign? But nonetheless, we wish him well. And God bless him. He was a disaster of a candidate, if I may say so myself. And of course, there was such a disdain that black people had for Mr. Walker. And we won't get into those things and as to why. But what I do know is it's over. Again, I'm glad that y'all won't be calling my phone. Won't be texting my phone. Ooh, them commercial. You couldn't even watch the game. You couldn't even get your mind fixed on what you was watching, because every time you turn around, it was a commercial. Yeah, y'all think y'all know him. He's a good character, right? Then here come Herschel wife. He put a gun to my. Listen, I'm not making small of any of those events. I'm just saying every time I turn around, that's what was on TV. Reverend Milton Brunson and the Thompson Community Singers. If you know them folks, that gospel choir, they sing a song over and over and over. It was over and over and over that I kept seeing those commercials, and I was just tired. Somebody say tired. What I do know is I have two what I do knows today. And the second one is about child support. Okay, listen, if you're a non-custodial parent, non-custodial parent means the person who don't have the child, the person who's paying the support. Okay, now I can only speak from Georgia's perspective because that's the child support I know. Okay, so this is not for any other states. I'm telling you how Georgia do. But if you are in Georgia and you are a non-custodial parent or the person paying the child support, I want to give you this advice. Please, 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 please do not convince or coerce the custodial parent or the person receiving child support. Please do not convince them to drop the child support because for some reason, most of the non-custodial parents can't get it in their mind that even though the child support has stopped enforcing or stopped making sure that money gets to the child, that obligation still accrues. Okay, so and let's just pretend that in January of this year, you convinced the custodial parent or the person receiving the support. Let's say in January of this year, you convinced them to drop the case. Well, that's fine. But let's say here it is December, and somebody get mad at somebody, or the needs aren't being met. And they turn the child support back on. Now, what Georgia does is they look back at the whole year, and if you can't prove that you have made that same obligation every month for the last 12 months, then you now are in the arrears or you are behind that amount. So if your child support payment is $300 a month and they cut it off in January and wanted to start it back in December, you automatically owe 300 times 11 months. Okay, so even though you won't start paying your monthly child support until probably January, you are behind, okay, $3,300 off the rip. Okay, so even though they stop support, the state of Georgia still expects you to meet that obligation, so they keep accruing it for you. Now, if they turn it back on, you may have to go in there and show proof that you paid $300 a month for the last 11 months. Okay, so please, please, please don't think just because the case got dropped or closed that you don't have to meet that obligation. Okay, just because the case is closed don't mean you still don't owe that $300 a month or whatever that payment was. Okay, so I want y'all to be aware of that, all you non-custodial parents. Okay, if they want to drop the case, tell them, no, never mind, I keep paying it. Or if they drop the case, whatever your payment was, you keep paying that to them. If it was $300 a month, you make sure they get $300 a month in a cashier's check, money order, or a written check, something where you can show proof if they decide to turn it back on. Okay? Because one of the things I get tired of is sitting in court and I see, somebody who reopened the case after 3 or 4 years, and then God bless the non-custodial parent, they owe $30,000, okay, after 3 years of not, right? And they're like, how I owe this? They dropped the case. Well, they dropped it, but the obligation still had to be met, okay? So the state of Georgia was still accruing that. So after, you need to have been paying that and keeping a record of it. So when they cut it back on 3 years later, you don't be in arrears $33,000. Y'all with me? Okay, so just keep that with you. Okay. Okay, and I am tired of that, but that's just one of the things that I do know. So I am tired of seeing that in court, but that's not what I'm tired of. That's just another thing that I know. Is y'all with me? So I knew two things today. I'm just as smart as I want to be. Hey, glory to glory. So remember that. Okay. I'm glad that the election is over. That's what I do know. And that thing about child support, if they close the case, you non-custodial parents, that obligation still needs to be met per the state of Georgia. So that money keeps accruing. And if they open it back up 5 years later, make sure you can show proof that you, over that 5 years, you made that obligation or met that obligation every month for that 5 years. Or you're going to owe whatever that payment is times 12 times 5. Y'all with me? Okay, so that's what I do know. Okay. So what I'm tired of. Now, don't be upset with me, but I am tired of some things. And listen, ladies, y'all know. Y'all know. And I appreciate y'all's modesty. I really, really do. But what I'm really tired of is y'all just being so doggone fine. Like, I listen. Let me just say that when the good Lord put Adam to sleep to take his rib to make woman, when he got done with woman, I know he looked around heaven and just popped his collar. I know he looked around heaven and brushed his shoulders off. I know he looked around heaven and had to get a high five from somebody. I know he looked around heaven and had to get a chest bump from somebody. I know he looked around heaven and wanted a gold star for his assignment. I know he looked around heaven and just said to himself, now I know I did a thing. I know he looked around heaven and said, what I did with the earth is wonderful. I know he looked around heaven and said, when I said, let there be light, that was wonderful. I know he got in heaven and said, when I said, separate the day from the night, I know that was wonderful. I know he looked around heaven and when he said, let the water separate from the land, I know he did a thing then. But hot almighty, no, when he pulled that rib from Adam, have mercy, God, and he made woman, he did what the young folks say here, he did a thing. Have mercy, God. Y'all just so beautiful. And I think I've said before in November when I was doing my 30 days of gratefulness, one of the things I was grateful for was the smile of a woman. You understand me? Because when you look at a woman and she smiles at you, that means she's saying you did good, boy. Right? When you make a woman smile, you have done something. Do you hear me? And I keep telling people when a woman smiles and it's because of me, I'm proud of me. You understand me? I'm proud of Shay. Have mercy, God. Because a woman's smile is so reassuring, right? That's why young children run to mama when they've hurt themselves, because her smile is reassuring. Her smile says it's all right, right? When a woman smiles at a man, it says it's all right. And it says you did good, boy. So I'm just great. Listen, I mean, when the good Lord made y'all, he did a thing. You understand me? And I'm trying not to be mannish, but y'all know what time it is. It's just not y'all smile and eyes that's wonderful. It's a whole bunch of things. Not only is it your smile and eyes, but it's your hips and thighs. Have mercy, God. I'm up here rhyming. I'm up here writing songs. Hips and thighs, hips and thighs. Oh, how they captivate my eyes. Have mercy. I'm going to calm down. But y'all are just beautiful, and you're beautiful in every way. And a lot of men think that women give them a hard time. But let me let you know something. When a woman is giving you a hard time, sir, it's because she cares, but it's that she can see the man that you want to be. She can see the husband, she can see the father, she can see the mate that you want to be, right? And so her fussing or her nagging is just trying to push you forward to the man that she sees that you want to be. Okay, and that's okay, right? Don't think it's too much pressure. Tell her to stop playing. Don't tell her she's playing you too close to the vest. Okay, she's just trying to get the best out of you, right? And she sees the best in you. She's just trying to get it out of you. That's why they nag and they own you so much. Okay, but trust me, a woman always, most women mean well, especially in that position. Okay, when they seem to be giving you a hard time, they just mean well. Okay, don't be upset with them. You understand me? Women are absolutely gorgeous, and all of us humans have our faults. So just like a man has his faults, a woman has her faults. But, I think the woman, especially the black woman, has been taking a beating for the last 2 or 3 years, and we need to let up off of them some, okay? And I want to say this to everybody. If your mate, your boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other, if they aren't challenging you professionally or intellectually, they not for you. Okay, so I know some of y'all think Shay think he know everything, but if I'm dealing with a woman, especially if you tell me I think I know everything, I'm just trying to get the best out of you, right? I'm not, I'm trying to challenge you intellectually. I'm trying to challenge you professionally. Okay, if I'm saying something or I'm on your case about something, or it sounds like I'm on your case about something at work, it's not that I'm trying to be an asshole. I'm trying to challenge you intellectually. I'm trying to challenge you professionally. Okay, and people shouldn't take that personal. Okay, with challenges come growth. Okay. So that's what a woman is doing when you think she's nagging and fussing. She's just challenging you to get the best out of you, and that's what she's forced to do. Is that all right? Okay. So while I know I took that a whole nother way, but that's just what I'm tired of. Just y'all just being so wonderful, women. I ain't mean to yell into my mic. If that turned red right there, that means I'm doing too much hollering. Okay, so, and I'm burping. I ain't ashamed of it neither. So let's do a word for the day. And like I mentioned before, our word for the day is a word that I did before. But I did it on the podcast that was on SoundCloud. I want you to see me do this word. It's one of my favorite words in the whole wide world. And that word is extraneous. That word is extraneous. Look at somebody and say, have mercy, God, extraneous. Okay. It is spelled EXTRANEOUS. It is spelled up here, okay? It is an adjective, and it means not pertinent or irrelevant. The definition of the word extraneous, that word means not pertinent or irrelevant. Irrelevant, not pertinent. That means it don't matter. Okay. When I was in college trying to do some math problems, I was just getting started in algebra there, and they would give us all these letters and numbers, and the first thing they would say is remove the extraneous values. Okay? Remove the extraneous values, or remove the values that don't matter so they don't confuse you and cause you to mess up the problem. Now, I want to say that even though this word we use in math often, let me move my tassel, this word we also can use in life. Is that all right? Because there's a lot of things in our life that are extraneous, okay, that don't matter, and that if we're not careful, we will stress over the extraneous. We will stress over the things that don't matter. So be absolutely certain that in your life you are making sure that in every situation you are looking for the extraneous values and taking them out. A lot of times you will find that once the extraneous values are removed, those are the ones that was causing the problems. Those are the ones that was causing the stress. Those are the ones that when you thought to yourself, why are you here? Those were the extraneous values. Y'all take that with you. Extraneous, not pertinent, irrelevant, it doesn't matter. Okay? Remember that. I want to say this. Don't you be afraid to apply this word extraneous to a person. See, sometimes we might let a person stress us out, and that person, have mercy God, be extraneous. I wish y'all was with me. Sometimes you can't figure out how come there's so much stress in your house, and that's because some of the values in the home are extraneous. And some of those values can be human beings that are extraneous. So you need to remove yourself or remove the other person that is, have mercy God, extraneous. Just like the math problems taught us that sometimes an extraneous value can mess up the problem and cause you to stress over something that don't even matter. So I got to go watch some college basketball, but y'all keep that with you. That word extraneous, and extraneous value, it doesn't matter. So with that being said,
Man, Shay think he know everything.
thank you for coming. Love you, mama. Love you, daddy. Drink some water. Give somebody a hug. I love y'all.